Alright, well, my front end has been pinging and popping, making a bunch of weird metallic sounds. I bought some new outer tie rods, assuming that was the problem. I've had these Moog outer tie rods on for probably 3.5 years at this point, but that's a long time for 35s and off-roading 2 to 3 days a week, plus road trips and stuff like that, and actually really hard off-roading, you know, maybe once a month. And so they shake down great. Like there's no play in it. The boots have ripped, so I'm hoping that there is some play only in very specific moments, but I get this loud ping sound while pulling off of curbs, and then also coming like to a stop. I'm not sure if the front tires are maybe trying to wiggle around a little bit here. So I'm going to be replacing it with another set of Moog Outer Tie Rods because they're very affordable, and these have lasted so long and there's still no play in them. When it comes to heavy rock crawling, can't quite vouch for that honestly, but high speed turns, hard cornering, and occasional rock crawling, they've been great for basically 3 years. So you got your castle nut on here, basically spin this off after breaking the lock nut, and then you just unscrew the entire tie rod right on out, just making sure it's the same amount of twists coming out as it is going back in. And because I have the 333 Fabrications cam eliminators, I'm hoping that this is just going to be identical. I don't see why I wouldn't, and I won't really need to go get an alignment. Let's get going. If you guys are looking at this and it looks like there's an extra part here compared to what you see in your 4runner, assuming you have stock width suspension, this is the spacer here for the long travel, just to match up with the different tie rods there, inner and outer tie rod. First step is to brace your tie rod here with another wrench here. So I'm going to be turning this locking nut here, so the wrench will be blocked here by the CV shaft, and I'll be able to hopefully break that locking nut loose. The other side was a bitch, and I don't have a breaker bar, so it was very difficult for me to get it. Anyways, I've been soaking it with PB Blaster for half an hour now, so hopefully that's been long enough. Maybe a little more. Didn't do that to the other side until I was right about to work on it, so. There we go. Soak it with PB Blaster. Alright. .3/16 socket. So I'm using my 1/2" impact over here. Next, to get a joint puller, let's go ahead and adjust this inner bolt here, which you can see the point on, and then there is a small dimple on the top there of the bolt for the outer tie rod. Pretty much got it take these claws and slide it underneath the metal portion of the lower ball joint assembly. Try to get it in between the boot here and the bottom of the metal. Doesn't matter if you rip the boot or anything like that, because you're obviously going to remove this part here. Just give yourself a 3/8 ratchet, or the appropriate socket to fit over that, but this is simpler. And you just start spinning off. That came out very easy. I could have actually just bopped that with the hammer and that would have actually came out. That's definitely not a good sign. This thing was barely in there. Leaking. The joint feels seized. It's actually, well, really shouldn't be able to move it this freely, but yeah, it's very jammed. Oh, it's jammed right now. Yeah. Definitely time to replace it. So as long as I get this to the exact same thread, but then everything should be the same, but I guess we'll find out after drive. Just see how smashed the boot is on this. We are going to have to reuse our locking nut because these new ones aren't replacing this here, so I'm going to reuse it. Alrighty, I got my left side outer tie rod, and these have little greasers that you need to install beforehand here. There's a new castle nut and a new cotter pin. No new backing nut though. By the way, when it comes to maintenancing or just overall checking your inner tie rods here, if they can stand up on their own like this, that means that they're still really tight. And this is with this huge piece of steel sitting on the end of it here. I made this 4.5 inches piece of steel, so these outer or inner tie rods here are about also replaced the same time frame as these outer here. In a little bit. Move that joint in so I can actually get the right angle. All right. Wow. There we go. Squish that boot in. Be happy to do so. I'm gonna snug this up for now. Definitely needs some lube. It's like a flat tire now. Let's go ahead and tighten up this locking nut. Do it the same way. Alrighty. Now when it comes to getting the cotter pin back properly in through the the castle nut here, you're going to want to make sure you rotate it just enough so you can have the holes line up. So once I hit my torque limit, I'm going to make sure to keep going a little beyond that unless I luck out and I'm right on the money. Not quite lucky. Keep going a little bit. A little bit more. That should do it. It's been one of my favorite custom off-road tools here. It's called a Tauler jack, T-A-U-L-E-R. I think it's the last name of the guy that created it. But as you can tell, it is just a trailer jack. It's for a heavy-duty trailer, 8,000 pound tongue weight. But you can buy a kit. I think the kit's like $150 or something, maybe more now. And you weld on this plate, and then you get it in pieces, so you can weld on the actual claw, the claw mount here. And virtually it is a handyman jack. A little safer, a little bit more stable, a little bit more compact. On the bottom here, pull out the pin and it collapses down in. You can then remove that piece together if you like, and just simplify everything. And just pull it right off the bottom. And this thing literally stows just right behind my back seat.